The White Sox trounced the Milwaukee Brewers 12-6. Tonight, the Sox will try and make it 2 in a row over their highway rivals as they play next live from County Stadium in Milwaukee. The Sox 32 Sports Network presents Chicago White Sox baseball. Live from County Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's the Chicago White Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers. The starting pitchers for the White Sox, Jose De Leon, and for the Milwaukee Brewers, left-hander Teddy Higuera. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to County Stadium. I'm Don Drysdale, along with Frank Messer. Happy that you've joined us tonight. It is game number 2 of this 4-game series. The Sox coming off of a big win last night, a 12-6 victory over Milwaukee. Joe Cowley picked up his 8th win of the year. And when you're going out there, you're looking 2, I think, top-notch pitchers right here. You got to look at what Jose De Leon has done, the future that he holds in store for him, Frank. Teddy Higuera has already showed that. He's having an excellent year.
Yeah, Teddy Higuera's future is here. De Leon's is still ahead of him. But De Leon has pitched well his last 2 times out, facing Roger Clemens and the Boston Red Sox both times, and pitched extremely well. Tonight he faces, I would say, probably the second best pitcher right now in the American League and the best left-hander, Teddy Higuera. That's based on what I've seen. Higuera's second only to Clemens in earned run average, and he strikes out a lot of people.
Well, he does just that. They call him Mr. Smoke over here in Milwaukee, and since the All-Star game, why, he is 4-0 on a 2+ ERA, so he's been pitching very well. But last night we saw, as we mentioned before, the Sox, the bats came alive. They scored 12 runs, and hopefully the same thing will happen tonight. We'll give you the starting lineups right after this commercial timeout.
Chicago White Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. By the Illinois State Lottery. Winning lotto numbers are now drawn twice a week on Wednesday and Saturday. So double your chances to win millions. Play Lotto. By your All-American Nissan dealers, where you can get low 5.7% financing. By Ace Hardware. Remember, Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man. By your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana CarX shops, cause CarX cares. By McDonald's of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. By your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Dodge dealers. See your local Dodge boys. We're out to shine. And by Ameritech Bell Yellow Pages, published by Donnelly Directory.
A good crowd on hand, and they're still coming in. And we'll check the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. For the White Sox, John Cangelosi will be in center, Reed Nichols in left, Harold Baines in right, Carlton Fisk will catch and back cleanup. Tim Hewlett at third, Russ Morman at first, Luis Salazar the designated hitter, Ozzie Guillen at shortstop, and Julio Cruz will be at second base. On the mound for the Sox, Jose De Leon, making his 4th start. He has 2 wins, no losses, an earned run average of 1.59. His last 2 starts were both wins, both over the Boston Red Sox and both over Roger Clemens. He'll pitch to a Brewer lineup that has been shaken up by manager George Bamberger. Jim Gantner will be at second base leading off. Charlie Moore will catch. Cecil Cooper at first base. Gorman Thomas, the designated hitter. Ben Oglevie in left field. Rob Deere in right field. Glenn Braggs moves to center. Ernie Riles is at shortstop. And Dale Swaim will be at third base. Both managers digging into the injured department for starters tonight. Ted Higuera will be on the mound for the Brewers. He has not been injured. We're talking about position players. He'll make his 24th start, 14 wins, 7 losses, and the second best earned run average in the American League, 2.67. The umpires tonight: at home plate, Tim Welke; at first base, David Phillips; at second base, Larry Young; and at third base, Victor Baltaggio. Let's take a look at Teddy Higuera. Probably, in my opinion anyway, the best left-hander right now in the American League. 14 wins, 7 losses. Only one pitcher has won more games, and that is Clemens. 23 starts, 9 complete games, 168 1/3 innings. He has walked 52 and struck out 140. The 140 strikeouts for the young Mexican left-hander, 6th in the league. Tonight's weather: the breeze is blowing toward left. The temperature is 79 degrees. The humidity is up 71%. The wind out of the south at 9. And there is, according to that forecast, a chance of showers. They have been talking about showers tomorrow morning here in Milwaukee, but they also say it should clear off by game time tomorrow afternoon. Well, that's in the future. Right now, let's go to the present. John Cangelosi to lead things off for the Sox, and all ready to tell you about it, ladies and gentlemen. Here is Don Drysdale.
Thank you very much, Frank, and once again, good evening, everyone. It'll be Cangelosi, Nichols, and Baines to face the left-hander Teddy Higuera, and a one-hopper to Swaim on across to Cooper. One pitch and one out.
Dale Swaim just off the disabled list, making his first start since suffering an injury early on. And we'll look at the defense. Van Ogleby in left field. Braggs goes to center tonight. Deere in right. Swaim at third. Riles at short. Jimmy Gantner at second base. Cecil Cooper at first. And Charlie Moore moves in behind the plate after Bill Schroeder caught last night's ball game.
Here's Reed Nichols hitting 180 with 7 RBIs. And Higuera misses just outside. Plate umpire is Tim Welke. Dave Phillips at first. Larry Young at second. Vic Voltaggio at third. The men in blue tonight. And it's 2-0. On deck, Harold Baines. There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Reed Nichols, who's had just one start since the 10th of July and only 6 at bats, where he's gone 1 for 6. And the breaking pitch in and over. 2-2 the count. Doug Rader at third. Eddie Brinkman coaching at first.
His last 2 starts have been against the Yankees. They have both been wins, Don.
And he just threw that one right on by Nichols.
Well, we'll take a look at the last pitch. They call him Don Humo, which roughly translates to Mr. Smoke. And he threw it right there. He has won his last 4 decisions, averaging 7.5 strikeouts per 9 innings this year, and we told you his strikeout total of now 141 is 6th highest in the American League.
That will bring on Harold Baines, who's hitting .298 and 17 home runs, 66 RBIs, and that leads the Sox in the race for the Arby's RBI award. Fouls the first pitch back, 0-1. Baines had a home run and a single last night in 4 trips. They count 1-1. He is now second on the all-time Sox home run list with 136 behind Bill Melton's 154. He's also hit safely in 5 of his last 6 games. Pops it up right side. Cooper moving over, should have a play, will have a play, and that will do it. So the Sox are gone 1-2-3, and after the first half inning of play, the White Sox nothing, and the Brewers coming up.
The Sox went quickly and quietly without a base runner in the top half of the first, and now the Brewers will come to bat against Jose De Leon. Young right-hander right there, record of 2 wins and no losses. This will be his 4th start. He pitches to a 159 earned run average, 17 innings of work, 10 walks, 14 strikeouts. He walked many of those 10 in his first start. That was against the Baltimore Orioles on the recent and rather disastrous road trip for the Sox. De Leon, though, his last 2 times out against Boston has pitched very, very well. He beat Boston and Roger Clemens for the 2nd time in 1 week. His last start, that was a 1-0 ball game last Monday night at Fenway Park. De Leon pitched 7 full innings, allowed only 2 hits, singles by Armas and Wade Boggs, as I recall. He struck out 6 and walked only 2 in that ball game. Reed Nichols, John Cangelosi, and Harold Baines patrol the outfield. Hewlett, Guillen, Cruz, and Mormon on the infield. Carlton Fisk catching De Leon as we go to the bottom half of the first for Gantner, Moore, and Cooper. Don.
And it'll be Jimmy Gantner to lead it off. Hitting .292, 6 home runs, and 28 RBIs. And the fastball by De Leon. 0-1 the count.
Gantner had a couple of hits last night. They were both doubles, his 101st and 102nd hits of the season.
Cruz in a good play. Turns again. Excellent play by Cruz.
Outstanding play by Julio right here. We'll take another look at it. He dives, backhands the ball, spins around, scrambles up, underhand throw, and plenty of time to get Gantner over at first base. Another angle, just as sensational a play right there by Cruz. And Mormon doing a little pivot there at first base to take the throw.
Now one out, and that will bring on Charlie Moore.
Come up with a play like that on the first hitter, your pitcher's got to pick up some confidence too.
Boy, you got to believe that, Frank. That makes you feel about another 6 inches higher out there. And the pitch to Charlie Moore is in and over. 0-1 the count. Your coaches, Tom Trebelhorn at third, Tony Muser over at first. Good to see Tony back in uniform after that accident that the Brewers had in spring training. A good breaking pitch by De Leon, and the count is 0-2.
Tony Muser probably, well, not probably, he was the most seriously of those injured in the explosion and fire at their spring training camp.
Outside with a breaking pitch. A ball and 2 strikes a count.
You know, Don, if I were a pitcher and had a play like Cruz made on Gantner for the first batter I pitched to, I think my control would get a lot better. I wouldn't be afraid to throw strikes. Here, hit it.
Well, you've got to be able to do that. That's outside, and he misses with 2 breaking pitches. The count 2-2. Hey, right there with that 2-0 mark, he has matched last year's win column.
Well, in watching him just in 3 games over here, Don, I never saw him pitch over there for the Pirates. I have no idea how in the world he could lose 19 ball games. So
there's a lot of people thought the same thing. There's a line drive into right center. That's going to drop for a base hit. So Moore is aboard. Cangelosi will get it back in.
I'm going to tell you one thing. You've got to be good to lose 19. You've got to be good, or else they wouldn't keep running you out there. You got to be able to show them something.
Well, he's got good stuff.
Here's a replay on that base hit. That pitch out over the plate, and Charlie Moore jumps on it, lines it out into right center. Cangelosi chases it down. So a base hit, man on for Cooper.
Now Cecil Cooper hitting .260 with 9 home runs, 58 RBIs. Cooper has a 6-game hitting streak going for him. And the curveball gets away from fifth. And to second base is Moore. Carlton, you can see right there that little look. Got to believe that he's thinking he should have caught that ball.
Well, there it is. It is in the dirt, and they'll probably charge a wild pitch. But there's one of those. No, going to charge a pass ball. All right. They're getting a little tougher on the catchers now, the official scores are. I'm not arguing with the call, but we've talked about that so many times, saying that a lot of pass ball, a lot of plays that are called wild pitch could very well be pass ball.
Outside, and the count 2-0.
You've been talking to the official scores around the league, Drysdale. I can see that.
No, I haven't. Well, you could see by the look on Pudge's face. Give him that pitch 100 times, and he's going to catch all 100 of them. That's hit hard center field. Cangelosi going back, and he'll be able to run it down. Moore was halfway to third, goes back to second, wants to tag, but can't do anything. Has to stay right there. Well, Cooper hits it hard, but right to Cangelosi. And that will bring on Gorman Thomas.
Well, there's the case there. Moore had wanted to tag and go to third. He should have stayed at second base. If that ball is not caught by Cangelosi, he could walk home anyway.
Yeah. He just got out there in no man's land and tried to get back to second base too late. So here's Gorman Thomas hitting .202. He has 13 home runs and 32 RBIs. Curveball missing inside to count 1-0.
There's quite a love affair going on here between Gorman Thomas and the fans and Gorman Thomas. Gorman said that really he was a little bit embarrassed when he first came back over here in the trade. He said just the way they got standing ovation after standing ovation, even when he didn't do anything.
There's a strike and the count 1-1.
He said he went from first to third on a base hit one time, and you thought he'd hit a grand slam home run. But the fans do like him here. He's a very personable type guy. There was quite a bit of controversy here when the Brewers let him go to Cleveland.
2 balls and a strike. Well, he's back in the Brewer uniform. Familiar number 20 on his back as you look at Ben Ogilvy on deck.
Well, Gorman is happy to be back. He told me that.
2-2 the count. De Leon this first inning a little inconsistent with the breaking pitch. You could see that Gorman Thomas looking dead fastball on that, and Fisk made De Leon come back with the breaking pitch and fooled badly. Two and two the count. 2 outs, more at second base. See what they want to come with here. Up high, and the count goes full at 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes the count. Struck him out. Now Thomas is gone. The Brewers are gone, and we're through 1, no score.
Well, taking a look at the games elsewhere, Dan Pasqua put a sudden death finish to that one at Yankee Stadium. Home run off Black in the 9th. Fisher gets the win. And Minnesota topped Oakland 9-2 in a slugfest. Boston at Detroit tonight, continuing their 4-game set. Cleveland visits Baltimore. Toronto's at Texas, and Seattle is in California. The Phillies over the Cubs 4-2. The Reds beat the Dodgers again 6-2. Tonight the Mets are in Montreal. The Giants are in Atlanta. The Pirates at St. Louis, and the San Diego Padres play the Astros down in Houston. We'll give you some details on those games if they become available, and certainly we'll be updating the night game scores as we go along. Right here we have no score in this ball game as we go to the top of the 2nd and back to Don.
Carlton Fisk will lead it off, hitting .203, 9 home runs, 48 RBIs. Timmy Hewlett on deck. Takes a strike, and the count 0-1.
Well, look for a couple of games like up in Boston that Fisk was going to break out of that slump, Don, but last night he went 0 for 5 and did not hit the ball hard, so I don't know.
Now balls and 2 strikes to count. Carlton has hit safely in 2 of his last 3. I tell you, just sitting looking from our vantage point up here, it just looks like he is a long ways from the plate. I don't know. I have never talked to him about it at all, but it just doesn't look like he can cover the plate. That pitch right there cannot cover it.
Well, that's the pitch they've been getting him out on. He's been striking out on a pitch low and away from him, or reaching out trying to pull the ball and either popping it up or grounding it rather weakly.
And a little soft line drive base hit to center field. So he hit it just like Aguirre threw it.
Well, he really did. Neither the pitch nor the swing would break a pane of glass. Here it is again. Little off-speed pitch, and there it is down off the end of the bat as Carlton just serves it out into center field, drops the ball in front of Braggs, and there's that swing again. And now that is an off-balance swing. There's no power at all behind that swing, Don.
No, he was just fooled on the pitch. He threw the ball and he happened to make contact. That's about it. But he didn't throw it very hard, and he was able to get the bat on the ball, and he stands at first base with a base hit. And that brings on Timmy Hewlett. Takes a strike, 0-1 with Russ Morman on deck. No score, top of the second, in the second game of this 4-game series. Good crowd on hand tonight.
We had better than 23,000 last night. They're expecting another additional 10,000 tonight.
Line foul right side. Now we'd like to pass along a big White Sox welcome to our affiliates: WYZZ in Bloomington, WRSP in Springfield, WQRF in Rockford, WXIN in Indianapolis, WAYK in Palm Bay, Florida, KLJB in Davenport, Iowa, and of course our flagship station WFLD TV Fox Incorporated in Chicago. Is going to happen, and somebody is going to get hurt. I'm surprised that Bamberger isn't just screaming out of that Milwaukee dugout. Somebody's yelling at Tim Welke over there.
It could be awfully easy for a pitcher to get hurt, and I really believe an umpire should not grant time once the pitcher starts his motion.
That's outside, the count 1-2. Well, the first thing the pitchers, I know if I was ever a manager, I would have there's your Bambi over there. He let out a verbal blast, I'll guarantee you that. And Jim Fregosi over in the Sox dugout. You just have to instruct your pitchers to go on through with the pitch. And if the catcher misses it and the umpire didn't get out of the way, that's his problem. But boy, I'll tell you, I would almost have an automatic fine if any pitcher tried to hold up just like that and hurt himself. You're being tough on the pitcher, but you also got to protect him. You get out there and get your cleats caught while you're trying to hold up or pull a muscle or something like that. They've already called time, so the pitch doesn't mean anything. Just turn it loose. As Timmy Hewlett turns the bat loose and can't make contact.
Well, there's the tab on Ted Higuera. His earned run average 2.67, second in the league. 14 wins. Only one pitcher has won more complete games. He's tied for third with 9. He's 6th in the league in strikeouts, 142. And in innings pitched, he is 7th in the league. And in all categories, Higuera leads American League left-handers in every category you want to mention. He's the best left-hander in the league in my book right now.
He's a good one. 15-game winner last year, 14-game winner already this year. Russ Morman has hit safely in 4 of his last 5, hitting .389 with a home run and 4 RBIs. But Luis Salazar on deck. The breaking pitch, and the count is 0-2. Gentle breeze blowing to left, so it should help the right-hand hitters tonight as you look at Salazar on deck. Well, you got to give that man right there an awful lot of credit. He has worked very, very hard to get himself back in shape. And here he is. Got him looking. So he gave Morman just a little bit of everything. Strikeout number 3.
Now there it is again. That pitch tailing back in over the outside corner of the plate to the right-hand hitting Russ Morman. And Salazar down, I guess, will be up for the first time since I'm not sure what date he went down for good last year. I know he got hurt and then played a couple of games after getting hurt.
He got hurt in Anaheim. Last trip out to California. And then the club went from there to Minnesota. There are the numbers on Luis last year at 245, 10 home runs, and 45 RBIs.
He started October 2nd at Minnesota. That was his last game.
Takes up high, the count 1-0. Been at Appleton the last couple of weeks on the rehab program, and here he is. On deck, Ozzie Guillen. Curveball missing, and the count 2-0.
Salazar did not hit well at Appleton, but I tend to discount that. He's just trying to get his timing down.
Bouncer foul. I think sometimes you'll take a major league pitcher or a major league hitter and put him down in that low a classification. They'll just trying on a rehab program. They'll have a tougher time there than they do back up in the major leagues. You get pitchers go down there, and those young hitters, they don't realize sometimes what those real good pitches are, where they should be thrown on certain counts. And the hitters facing some wild young pitching. There's a strike in the count 2-2. But sometimes they're not too happy to really nestle in that batter's box real snugly. Two and two the count. There's 2 outs and Fisk at first. Outside, full count, 3-2. And with the 2 outs, Carlton will be off and running with a pitch. Cooper telling Aguirre he's going to play behind. He goes, and the pitch swung on and missed. He strikes out the side. No runs on a hit and a man left, and after 1.5, no score.
Every Monday night Sox home game this year is a Sox half price night. All box, reserved, and general admission tickets are half price for Monday night games. The next Sox half price night of the year is set for August 25th against the Kansas City Royals. So why don't you get the family together and make your plans to come out to Comiskey Park on the 25th and enjoy the game. The Sox will play Kansas City, and it will be a half price night. Well, right here we have no score going to the bottom half of the second, and the Brewers will send out Ogilvie, Deer, and Bragg.
Ben Ogilvie hitting .297 with 3 home runs and 40 RBIs has his group out there in left field. I'll say one thing, they've been a loyal group to Benji too. Been out there every year that I can remember since Ogilvie has been with Milwaukee.
Well, he first came over here from Detroit in 1978. He's hit a few home runs in this ballpark, I'll tell you that.
Well, we've said it many times that Ogilvie will hit the ball as far as any man in the game. If he's looking pitch and he gets that pitch and makes solid contact, nothing will hold it back.
Well, he first came up with the Boston Red Sox, then went to Detroit. There's quite a story about Ogilvie while he was playing for the Tigers. There was a lot of talk about the Yankees making a trade for him, and they came close to making that trade. Now, Ogilvie, left-hand hitter, the power you're talking about, can you imagine him playing, say, the last 10 years at Yankee Stadium, Don?
He'd have probably loved it.
He might have put a few numbers on the board there.
I haven't known too many left-handers that really didn't like Yankee Stadium.
I haven't known any left-hand pitchers that didn't like it. It's a good stadium for left-handers all the way around.
All the way around is right. 2 balls and a strike. Down low, the count goes to 3-1. De Leon quitting on that breaking pitch. That's why he's hadn't had that command of that so far. 3 balls and a strike. And he walks. So the first walk issued by De Leon, and that will bring on Rob Deere. Deere hitting .240, had a pair of home runs last night. He has 24 on the year and 68 RBIs. Now here's just power to power right here. De Leon to Deere. On deck, the center fielder Glenn Braggs. Keep Ogilvy close. Brewers aren't really a stealing club. They have just 66 stolen bases on the year. Breaking pitch in and over. And the leader on the ball club is Jimmy Gantner. Or no, he's right behind Robin Yount. Yount has 11. Gantner has 10.
Yeah, hit with a pitch from Cowley last night. He's going to miss 2 or 3 games. May miss the rest of this series.
Fastball outside. Now the 7 home runs that were hit last night are the most hit here in County Stadium in a single game this year. A ball and a strike. Down low, the count 2-1. There you see the center fielder Glenn Braggs on deck. High, the count 3-1.
Now here's where you get in trouble with Deere. When you get to the point where you have to throw him a fastball in the strike zone, he's looking for it. He'll hit that ball as far as anybody.
He had a couple of dandies last night. And he walks in. Now here comes Dick Bosman out to talk to De Leon. Back-to-back walks to Ogilvy and Deere.
Well, one reason for De Leon's success in his last start last Monday night in the 1-0 White Sox win, the fact that he only walked 2 people. He only allowed 2 base hits. He only walked 2 people in the innings that he pitched. And right here in the 2nd inning, he has walked 2 men back-to-back, the first 2 batters.
Jim Fregosi over in the Sox dugout. You can see some of the movement that Bosman was talking about. Now that left shoulder flying out a little. And also driving at the hitter and making those shoulders rotate and not on just a swivel. Now here is the center fielder Glenn Braggs hitting .260 with a home run and 6 RBIs. Could be 2. Guillen has a tough time getting it out of his glove, and they only can get 1.
Well, we'll take another look at it and see. Again, just can't get a handle on it. That's a good double play ball. The ball off the end of the bat sharply hit right there, though. He has trouble getting a grip on the ball. And by the time he gets the ball over to Cruz, Deere with a rolling slide in has eliminated any chance for Cruz to throw back to first base to get Braggs. And now there's only 1 out with runners at 1st and 3rd.
And Ernie Riles, the shortstop, standing in. Ogilvy at 3rd with Braggs at 1st. outside with a breaking pitch, and the count 1-0. Low and away, 2 balls and no strikes the count. The biggest thing that, as you watch De Leon throw, that he has to continue to work on, and that is his drive towards the plate. He has a tendency to pitch straight up and down and be a little bit of a recoiler out there. And of course, from his angle, the angle of his arm that he throws from, that is something you do not want to have happen. High pop. Fisk. They're both looking at one another. No one's saying anything, and now Mormon comes down to get it. Russ says, well, it wasn't, I didn't sure who wanted to go get it. De Leon was yelling at Fisk, and Pudge yelled at Mormon, said, I don't want it, you take it.
Yeah, we'll take another look at it. It's a sky-high pop-up. That is a major league pop-up. Now Fisk has to push Riles out of his way. Now Fisk is yelling to Mormon to take it. And Mormon does take it. That's an easier play for the first baseman than anybody else involved, and it was truly Mormon's ball. And Fisk is saying, you got it. That's a big out right there.
Very big out as Dale Swaim stands in, hitting .280, 4 home runs, 27 RBIs. Breaking pitch, got the outside part of the plate, and the count is 0-1. Interesting comment by Harry Dalton, the Vice President General Manager of the Brewers, talking about Swaim in today's paper. Good breaking pitch that time. He threw it. 0-2 the count. But stating that the Brewers, he believes, are a better ball club with Swaim in the lineup. Now where he will continue to play and who would come out is interesting. That's the interesting part right there. He's playing third tonight, and you have Molitor usually at third.
Well, they're talking about Swaim as their third baseman of the future, really, and I wonder what their thinking is about Molitor, because Molitor is still quite young. Swaim has been hurt. This is his first game after coming back off the disabled list. He first came up from the minor leagues when Molitor was hurt earlier in the year, and Swaim hit just about every pitch thrown to him. He was hitting around 400 or so, but he was not catching the ball.
33 pitches by De Leon. Outside with a breaking pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swaim, different spelling. S-V-E-U-M. Struck him out. Good high fastball. So the Brewers are gone. They leave a pair and through 2, no score. Well, a word to all you joggers, you can register now for the White Sox 86 Bud Light Fun Run, a 3.5-mile run, which will start outside Comiskey Park, finish at home plate. That run is set for September 7th, and your $10 fee includes run registration, 2 complimentary general admission tickets, and an official Fun Run T-shirt. So call 924-1000 for more information. Along with Frank Messer, I'm Don Drysdale. Happy you've joined us tonight. The second game of this 4-game series. No score through 2. We go to the third, and to call it for you, here's Frank.
Okay, Don, thank you very much. And Ozzie again to lead it off. And he lines one foul down the right side. He got around well on it, but pulled it foul. Ginn is hitting .244, 2 home runs and 37 runs batted in for the season. He had 1 base hit in 5 at-bats in last night's game. That was a single. He drove in a couple of runs with it. That was a key hit, really. A 2-out, 2-run single in the first inning of last night's game. And he fouls one off to the left side. Gibbs base hit gave the Sox their 4th and 5th runs in the first inning, and that was a very comfortable margin as Cowley and Nelson combined. He's out. Strike 3. Tried the running bunt with 2 strikes on him. 4 strikeouts in a row and 5 in the ball game now for Teddy Higuera. Higuera now has struck out 145 men this year. And he'll work to Julio Cruz. Cruz snapped an 0 for 10 slump with a single in his second at bat last night. He's had only 5 hits in his last 41 trips. Ball 1. He's had only 1 extra base hit all year. Ball out of strike as the breaking pitch is in. Cruz has 40 hits for the season, 39 singles and a double. Line down the left side. That's a fair ball. That may be an extra base hit and will be. Cruz will win a second base with his second double of the year.
Now Julio stayed on this ball nicely as Higuera gets the pitch up over the plate. Not a lot on it, and Cruz just turns on it. That's about 3 or 4 feet fair, and by the time Ogilvy gets it back in, easy double for Cruz.
So the Sox have a base runner at second base for the first time in the ball game. Their second hit tonight and the second 2-base hit this year for the cruiser. Also breaks the skein of 4 straight strikeouts. John Cangelosi grounded out to the third baseman Dale Swaim on the first pitch of the ball game. Swaim spelled S-V-E-U-M. Swaim. Showing butt and taking high. Ball 1.
You mentioned, Frank, that was the second extra base hit of the year for Cruz. That was his first extra base hit right-handed, so he's got 1 from each side now.
Well, let's see if the Sox can get him home now. They got to play on at second, but the pitch comes in anyway, and it's ball 2 high. That time Jimmy Gantner ducked in behind Julio Cruz at second base, leaving the right side of the infield open. But the pitch was out of the strike zone and no chance for Cangelosi to take advantage of it. That one's in for called strike. Cangelosi with 59 runs scored this year. Harold Baines has scored 58. Baines leads the Sox in base hits with 122. Threw one past him, 2-2.
Well, he's really been mixing his speeds up really well. That time he just had that one by Cangelosi. That was the most, as far as velocity is concerned, of the 4 pitches that Cangelosi has seen this particular at bat.
Cangelosi is second on the club in base hits with 91, which may be surprising to some of our listeners and viewers. Third base, he handles a wicket hop very nicely, does Swaim, and throws Cangy out. Cruz has to hold, and there are 2 down.
Well, that was a bad hop, and evidently there gives you a little bird's eye view of an insight about this young third baseman right there. He makes that play easy. Good shift at first base of Cecil Cooper. He's been a good one over there for many years.
Yes, he really has, going back to his Boston days. Well, I'll tell you something. You wouldn't know it from the play that Swaim made right there, that he was having trouble defensively when they first brought him up. Reed Nichols 0 for 1 tonight, struck out in the first inning. You've got Cruz at second, now 2 away. And the breaking ball blowing in. Really, Higuera has not been throwing that many fastballs. He's been throwing off speed and breaking pitches.
That's it. That's what I say. He's been mixing up. Last time that we saw him, of course, we haven't seen him since opening day of the season. But he is not going with his fastball as much as we've seen him in the past. Well, you can get him out the other way. Just gives you that much more to work with, more of an arsenal.
Yeah, he's got something left for the later innings. We'll see what happens right here. A 1-0 count. And there's a fastball and line to left field, and they're going to try to score the run. Play at the plate. Strong throw, the slide. He's out. Cruz is thrown out by Ogilvy. It was a good gamble. It just backfired on the Sox. They do not score. They leave a man, and in the middle of the third, there is no score.
Well, we'll take a look at some scores for you in the American League final. Yankees 3-2 over Kansas City, 9-2 Minnesota over Oakland, and 6-1 Boston over Detroit in the sixth. 3-2 Cleveland over Baltimore in the sixth. 1-0 Toronto over Texas in the second. Starting later, Seattle and California. National League this afternoon, Philly over the Cubs 4-2, 6-2 Cincinnati over the Dodgers, 3-1 Montreal over New York in the sixth. Rain delay, San Francisco at Atlanta, 3-3 tie in the third. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and 3-0 Houston over San Diego.
And right here, there's no scores. Jimmy Gantner leads off the bottom half of the third. He was robbed of a base hit and a great play by Cruz out at second base back in the first inning. De Leon behind him, 1 ball, no strikes. And a fastball inside. Let's go back and look at Cruz trying to score on Nichols' base hit to left field. You see Cruz going head first, and he's not sliding anywhere close to home plate. I think on a play like that, Don, you're much better advised to come in feet first, spikes first, and try to base hit out into right field. Either try to sneak in between the legs of the catcher, maybe let the throw hit you, or whatever. But head first slide at home plate, you're not going to go into those shin guards first place. You're not going to go for the plate.
Won't get the job done. First of all, if Cruz goes right straight in, that ball has a chance of hitting him in the back. But for any of you little league kids out there, or whoever it is, you don't want to be diving in head first at the plate.
No, sir.
That is not the proper way to go about doing it.
So base hit for Gander, his third hit of the series. And let's see how Bamberger plays it right now with Moore at the plate and Cooper on deck. He's going to swing away and ducks away from a high inside fastball. Ball 1. I'll tell you what. Well, we'll take a look at that pitch.
Yeah, just a curveball that sails up there on him, just gets away from him. That wasn't his fastball, or he wouldn't have been on his feet. Kind of an interesting story in that Minnesota win over Oakland this afternoon. Frank Viola, he allowed just 1 run and 2 hits over 7 innings. That's not the story.
There goes the runner, swing and a miss, and a terrible throw. Julio tried to deke Gantner out by pretending the ball got through, but Gantner had no part of that. A stolen base and a very bad throw by Fisk.
Now Gantner got a good jump. Charlie Moore is an excellent hit and run. Look at the jump that the runner gets. And Carlton, I'm sure even with the throw on the money, I don't know if he'd have thrown him out anyway. He had such a big jump, but where the throw ended up, they didn't have a chance. But Charlie Moore handles that bat well, and he has always been a good hit and run man for these Brewers.
11 stolen base for Gantner. And now the bunt to get him over to third. Let it go, and it'll be a foul ball.
The Brewers have 8 consecutive stolen bases without being caught, so they have, what little they do, they have been successful. But anyway, getting back to Frank Viola.
Yep.
His career record now is 59-59. The first time that Viola's been at 500 in his career since he was 4-4 back in August of 1982. And Mickey Hatcher went 4 for 5 in that game with 3 runs scored. So he had another big day.
Right here we have no score, a ball and 2 strikes to count on Moore, with Gantner at second and nobody out. Moore had a base hit his first time up. So De Leon in a jam trying to work out of it. Two balls and 2 strikes. Out in right field, Bain sets up fairly shallow as the outfield is spread out, trying to guard as much territory as possible.
Now just watching Jimmy Gantner, he wants to steal third.
Foul will be in the seats on the left side.
Gantner keeps looking at Trevelhorn. Of course, he can get all the room that he wants. Cruz is deep and straight away. Guillen is deep on the other side straight away. And as a lot of the good base runners will tell you, third is easier to steal than second at times.
Well, you get a much better lead off second base than you get off first. The throw from the catcher, of course, is a closer throw, but with a right-hand hitter up there, there's nothing says the hitter has to jump out of the catcher's way and give him a clean alley to throw down to third base. 2-2 pitch. Slicing foul into the right field corner. Chatting with Jose De Leon yesterday. I'll tell you, I'm finding more and more of them. He said, I grew up listening to you broadcast the Yankee games. I said, where in the world did you live that you listened to me? But he made his home in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Even though born down in La Vega in the Dominican. He misses, and the count is full. 3-2 on Charlie Moore. He's had an interesting career. Started out as a catcher. You look at Cecil Cooper on deck. Then they moved Moore to the outfield, and he turned into a pretty fair country outfielder. Now they got him back catching again. Gantner at second base. Nobody out. And no score in our ball game as yet. He struck him out. That's a strike. Charlie doesn't believe it. But he is out on strikes on an appeal to Dave Phillips. Big strikeout for De Leon.
And Carlton Fisk is going to have a quick chat with De Leon. Now watch the body of De Leon. You see how he throws straight up in the air. It doesn't really come through. You see the recoil. Now he hangs that ball inside. And Charlie Moore just could not hold up. And I'm sure that that's what Carlton was saying. They look at, you've got to come down through. You've got to come over that left leg. And he has a point to where he hits and he recoils. And boy, that can throw your control off quite a bit.
He struck out 3 now. And will work to Cooper, who flied to deep center field in the first inning. He drove Cangelosi back almost to the track. Ball 1. De Leon working very deliberately. Foul straight back off the screen.
Don't throw Cecil up there.
No, sir.
Oh, Coop, he's had a couple clubs playing on that top. He is a good man.
First came up in 1971 with the Boston Red Sox. Came over to Milwaukee in '77. Heading going there on the pitch, and it's 1-2. Cooper came into this season with a lifetime .303 batting average. 223 home runs, of which he has added 9 this year for a total of 232, and one of those was hit last night. One and two the count to him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No score. De Leon trying to survive a leadoff single and stolen base by Jim Gantner. He now has 1 out. Bouncer will move Gantner to third. Ginn throws in the dirt. Bad throw. And Cooper is on. Now that is something I'll never understand, a throw like that. He had all the time in the world to make his throw over to first base. Bounced it over to the rookie first baseman Mormon for an error.
Well, I'll guarantee you he'll hear about that, because Jim Fregosi has just been waiting for something like this to happen. And it's not the first time that Ozzie just gives that little lollipop throw over there. And there just is no excuse for that whatsoever.
Well, depending on what Thomas does, there it is again from another angle, and you cannot fault your first baseman. It's a big play if he comes up with one of those poor throws. Thomas struck out in the first inning. Well, there are runners at first and third with 1 out. There should be no worse than a runner at third with 2 outs. There's a veteran Cooper down at first telling Mormon, he'll say, son, before your career is over, you'll have a lot of those throws come your way. 2 balls and no strikes to Gorman Thomas. Ball 3, and the count is 3-0.
I tell you, De Leon, it'll be interesting to see the number of breaking pitches as compared to fastballs that he's thrown tonight. He might be 60-40 breaking pitches.
I would say. And he throws one away. That'll be ball 4, and the run will score. Jimmy Gantner comes in from third, and the Brewers lead 1-0. Here it is on the replay. A wild pitch as ball 4 is thrown to Thomas, who walks, and Gantner comes in to score. And that'll send Bosman out to the mound. A wild pitch charged to De Leon, allowing the run to score. Cooper at second base, Thomas with a walk, the third base on balls at first. And Dick Bosman is out talking to De Leon.
Now the last pitch that even got away from Carlton Fisk was not the fastball.
So the Brewers score first in the ball game with a run here in the third. Still only 1 out. Runners at first and second. And De Leon's got to look down at Ben Ogilvie, and Bobby Thigpen goes to work in the bullpen. Fisk is scrambling on that one. Ball 1 to Ogilvie, who walked, leading off the second. In 2 of the 3 innings, the Brewers have had their leadoff man on, and would have had all 3 innings had it not been for a fine defensive play by Cruz on Gantner in the first. high pop foul right side. Mormon moving forward and has room to make the play. 2 down. Well, 2 on with 2 gone, and the batter will be Rob Deere. He walked in the second. Deere, a non-roster player for the Brewers this spring. Breaking ball for a strike. Deere came over from the San Francisco Giants in exchange for pitchers Dean Freeland and Eric Pilkington, both of whom are pitching in the minor leagues. And here Deere is leading this club in homers and RBIs. Ball and a strike. Your base runners: Cooper at second, Thomas at first. Deere is also leading the club in strikeouts. That's true. Reached base, though, in 15 consecutive games, including tonight. We showed you a graphic last night that Deere's strikeout ratio, strikeout to at-bat ratio, was the worst in the major leagues. The wind has picked up quite a bit. Deere doesn't need any wind. Deere strikes out every 2.6 at-bats. Hit his bat. That's a fair ball. De Leon will throw him out to retire the side. A run scores on 1 base hit, an error, and 2 men are left on. Into 3. Brewers lead it 1-0. If you're one of those baseball fans who has dreamed of playing against stars like Minnie Minoso, Billy Pierce, or Moose Skowron, your dream can become reality at the 2nd annual White Sox Rodman and Renshaw Fantasy Camp and Investment Seminar. It's going to be held next February 1st through 8th in Sarasota. For information, call 924-1000. Harold Baines takes a breaking pitch and a strike called as we go to the 4th. The Brewers are leading 1-0. Baines popped up to Cecil Cooper in foul ground in the 1st inning. A ball and a strike to him. That is back and out of play. Popped him up. That's playable on the left side. Plenty of room for the 3rd baseman, Swaim. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. And the batter will be Carlton Fisk. Ted Higuera has allowed 3 base hits tonight. He has not walked anybody. He has registered 5 strikeouts in the game. Fisk has one of those hits, a soft single to center field. So Pudge 1 for 1 in this game. Sox came in with some momentum going. They have won 7 of their last 9 games after losing a season high 8 in a row. The Sox are 9-12 since the All-Star game break. Curveball is over. Strike 1. The series continues tomorrow afternoon, a 1:30 game here at County Stadium, with Richard Dotson taking the baseball from Jim Fregosi, and Bill Wegman is the choice of George Bamberger. Another breaking pitch, and the count is 0-2. We'll stay over and play again Monday night with Floyd Bannister going against possibly Juan Nieves, although Nieves twisted an ankle before Thursday's game. He was running and he may or may not be able to pitch Monday. Popped up right side, long run for Cooper. Can he get to it? And he does. What a play. Excellent play by Cecil Cooper as he grabs it over the shoulder.
Now there it is again. That big basket. Good play by Cooper.
And there are 2 down. The batter will be Tim Hewlett. Struck out his first at bat. If Nieves is unable to pitch for the Brewers on Monday night, Chris Bozio is expected to take the baseball from Bamberger. Ball 1. Milwaukee leading the Sox by a score of 1-0 here in the top of the 4th. 2 outs, none on. Hewlett in the air to center field. Plenty of room, though, for Braggs. 3 up, 3 down in the middle of the 4th. The score, the Brewers 1 and the White Sox nothing.
Now the White Sox and Coca-Cola would like to invite you to be part of the official White Sox Club. The Shy Sox fan club for just $10. You get 2 free tickets to a White Sox game, invitations to all fan club sponsored events, and much, much more. Call 924-1000 for more information.
Glenn Braggs will lead off the bottom half of the 4th inning for the Brewers. Then Ernie Riles and Dale Swaim. Jose De Leon on the mound for the Sox, and he comes in high for a ball. Still raining in Atlanta, where the Giants and the Braves are trying to get a game in. Texas leads Toronto 2-1. They're in the 4th inning now down in Arlington, Texas. Pirates and the Cardinals tied 3-3 in the 4th inning in St. Louis. Foul tip, 1-1. Houston 5, San Diego nothing in the 3rd. Ball and a strike here to Glenn Braggs. Braggs last night went 0 for 4, and he forced a runner with a ground ball in his 1 at bat tonight. 2 balls and a strike. The Brewers are very high on this young man. They feel that he is a player of the future for them, and of course the Sox are high on this young man. They feel he can win some ball games for them. Foul back, and the count is 2-2. Glenn Braggs out of San Bernardino, California. Still lives in San Perdue. They don't like that out there, do they? Call it San Perdue.
Well, I don't know.
I've heard that. I don't know.
That might be. I've never thought about it. Born and raised out there, never thought about it.
Hard ground ball and a base hit. Cangelosi gets the ball back in from center field. And Braggs is on, and now for the 3rd inning in a row, the Brewers have had the leadoff man on. That is their 3rd hit of the game. Ernie Riles taking a long look at Tom Troublehorn, the 3rd base coach.
And that young man at first base has got some speed. Just watching him go down the line for the last couple of nights has got to impress you.
Strike over the outside corner. Riles popped up to Mormon at first base, his first at bat. De Leon goes to first. Over there again, trying to shorten that lead up a bit. to right side. The only play is going to be at second base, and save. Well, I think the Sox may argue this one. I think they've got an argument there, and I agree with Ozzie. I thought the throw had beaten him. Now I'll have the advantage of a replay, which Larry Young will not, and here's Fregosi.
Well, he's going to have something to say. There's no question about that. How you can go in there and go in there standing up like that and stay on the bag, and how you can beat that play, I'd like to know how. We're going to get another look at it. I'll guarantee you Larry Young is going to get a little earful. Now we'll take a peek at Mormon, going to try and cut the lead man down, and he goes in. And whether he said that he came off of the bag too quick, it was awfully close, I'll say that.
Well, it's a lot closer here than I thought it was to start with. Like I said, though, we have the advantage of the replay.
Well, I'm not too sure that he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't safe.
I
looking at that.
I tell you, well, that's the advantage we have looking at the replay, and now it shows that Mr. Young was right. Runners first and second, nobody out. Fielder's choice. And the batter is Dale Swaim, who struck out his first trip.
You know, the thing that was a little confusing about that, too, is when Ozzie made his stretch, he made his stretch sideways over towards third. If he'd have come out to meet the ball, then you would have had a chance to say he could have been out.
Now Swaim bunts first base side. Let it go. It's going to go foul, and that's the best play they had right there. 69 pitches thrown by De Leon. And out in the bullpen, Bobby Thigpen is up and throwing again. Nothing one, the count on Swaim. And he bunts. The play will be at third. They got him. No question about that one. He bunted the ball too hard, and De Leon was able to make the play.
Second baseman, Tim Gardner.
Well, now what are they doing here? They had the hidden ball trick or something. As Swaim thought he was out, and Cruz went over and touched him. So he is out now, unless time had been called.
Obviously, time not called.
So they've got a double play. And I don't know what happened, whether Swaim thought they threw to first base or what.
Well, let's watch the bunt first of all. As he bunts the ball too hard, De Leon spins and throws Braggs out at third base. Now Hewlett.
He's out at third because that's a force play. But then Cruz had the ball over at first. He just moved off of the bag, and Cruz ran over and tagged him. Looked like he was kind of herding the bull back in the pen.
I don't know what Swaim could have been thinking about.
I don't have any idea. I have no idea.
Meanwhile, Riles is at second base, and there are two down.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got the place buzzing.
And Gantner the batter. Two balls and no strikes to Gantner. Nope, they're going to change it now on an appeal to the third base umpire, Voltaggio, and he says Gantner swung. So it'll be a ball and a strike count. Gantner has grounded out and singled. He has scored the game's only run. That is a swing and a miss and not a foul ball as Fisk scrambles after it.
What in the world happened there?
The last pitch.
That was a swing and a miss.
That was a swing and a miss. He did not foul it. You see the way Fisk scrambled after it.
Take a peek at it.
It just kicked off the heel of Fisk's mitt. It was not foul tip. So the count 1-2 on him. Foul. This time to the first base dugout. Picked off by Ogilvie.
Oh, I tell you, this has been a crazy game so far. We're only 2 outs into the 4th.
You check the moon yet?
I don't know what's going on.
And he struck him out, and that will retire the side. No runs, a base hit, a man is left on at the end of 4. Milwaukee 1 and the Sox nothing. Well, that's it. Next Friday night at Comiskey Park, the Milwaukee Brewers will be in to play the Sox, and it'll be WMAQ Chicago White Sox Umbrella Night. The first 15,000 ladies 15 and over who attend the Sox game with the Brewers next Friday night will get a free White Sox umbrella. Compliments of WMAQ Radio. For tickets, call 559-1212 and use your charge card. Or stop by the Comiskey Park ticket office next Friday night. Well, through 4 innings of play here at County Stadium, the Brewers have a 1-0 lead. For the Milwaukee Brewers, 1 run on 3 base hits, no errors, and they've left 6 men on base already. The Sox, no runs, 3 hits, an error, and the Sox have left 2 men on base. We go to the 5th inning. It'll be Mormon, Salazar, and Guillen coming on for the Sox, and back to call the action, Don Drysdale.
All right, Frank Mormon struck out his first time at bat. Aguirre has struck out 5. Now the infield outfield straight away for Russ. And the breaking pitch catches that outside part of the plate. 0-1 the count. Mormon has hit safely in 4 of his last 5 ball games. Inside, 1-1 the count. On deck, Luis Salazar. 1-0. Milwaukee on top. And that will catch that inside corner. Mormon, I believe, is too thrilled with that call. 1-2 the count. Off the end of the bat, shallow center. Gander moving out, has a play, makes the catch, 1 away. And it'll bring on Luis Salazar.
Designated hitter, Luis Salazar.
Gander, who was playing deep anyway, got a good jump on the ball, just made a routine play out of it. Salazar struck out his first time at bat, 0 for 1, with Ozzie Guillen on deck. Ball missing outside. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Well, tomorrow afternoon it'll be Richard Dotson and Bill Wegman. And on Monday night, Floyd Bannister and Juan Nieves, if he is ready to go. He was running in the outfield at Yankee Stadium, sprained an ankle. There's a bouncer, third, fair ball, and they throw him out. Home plate umpire Tim Wilkie on that play. Jumped out in a hurry. And the third baseman, Swaim, made the play just in fair territory. So quickly 2 outs, and here's Ozzie Guillen. Ozzie trying to break out of a 3 for 25 streak. His average down to 244 with a pair of home runs and 37 RBIs. On deck, Julio Cruz. 1 ball and no strikes. Looking at Cruz on deck. Breeze still blowing to left. Good crowd on hand. There's a drive to right, but right at Rob Deere. And that will do it. Quickly, the Sox are gone in the 5th inning. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 1-0 Milwaukee. So we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, 1-0 Milwaukee. It'll be Charlie Moore, Cecil Cooper, and Gorman Thomas in that order. Moore has singled and struck out. One and 0 the count. That's high. The count 2-0. Cleveland over Baltimore 5-2. That's in the 7th inning. Boston leading Detroit 6-4 in the 7th. Tigers trying to come back. That's hit deep left center field. Reed Nichols has a play. 1 out. And that'll bring on Cecil Cooper.
First baseman, Cecil Cooper.
Cooper tonight has line to center. He was on an air. He takes a strike. 0-1. Norman Thomas on deck. Good crowd on hand here at County Stadium tonight. That's outside. 1-1 the count. A little bit off, and Cooper out in front, and the count moves on to 1-2. A run on 3 hits, no errors for the Brewers. No runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the White Sox starting tonight with a record of 49-58, 9 games behind California. Angels host the Seattle Mariners tonight on the West Coast. Looper foul out of play. Count remains 1-2. And the Brewers a record of 53-55, 10.5 games behind Boston. Cooper with a 6-game hitting streak. He's also hit safely an 8 of 9 and 12 of 14. Just inside, and the count goes even at 2-2.
It's always interesting to watch a pitcher after he's made what he thinks is the perfect pitch. The batter takes it, and then the ball is called. He doesn't get the strike.
Foul back. Count remains 2-2. The fork ball hook foul down the right side and out of play. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. After the Monday night game here, which will conclude the series, the Sox will move on to Tiger Stadium. 3 with Detroit before returning home and playing just a brief 3-game stand. There's a line drive left center field. Cangelosi, an excellent jump. He is there. Look out. Nichols right behind and makes the catch. Almost a collision.
Your attention, please. Dr. Gordon Gore. Report to the Brewer office.
Well, we'll take another look at it. Looks like Cangelosi all the way. But right there, he hears Nichols coming, and Cangelosi ducks away and lets Nichols take it. There's a case where it's the center fielder's ball if he can get to it. But Cangelosi did hear Nichols and averted a collision, and Nichols made the catch.
No 2 outs, and here's Gorman Thomas, who has struck out and walked. Takes outside and low. The count 1-0. On deck, Ben Ogilvy. That's hit high to left. Up in the breeze. Nichols on the track. And that takes care of the Brewers here in the 5th inning. 3 up, 3 down. And after 5, 1-0 Milwaukee.
Well, so far tonight here at County Stadium, it's been a pitcher's duel, but there's going to be fireworks Saturday night. That's a week from tonight at Comiskey Park. The Sox play the Brewers, and a fireworks display following the ball game, sponsored by Busch Beer. For tickets, call 559-1212 and use your charge card, or stop by the Comiskey Park ticket office. That's a week from tonight, next Saturday night. Fireworks.
And Julio Cruz will try and get some fireworks started for the White Sox here in the top of the 6th inning. So far, Teddy Higuera has closed the door on him, missing outside. There is a looper into right center field, dropping in a hurry, and they can't make the play. Excellent effort by Deere.
It was a great effort by the right fielder, Rob Deere. Little looper, and Deere will come from the right of your screen right there, and almost made a spectacular catch, but the ball does fall in for the base hit, and the second tonight for Julio Cruz. I'll tell you, to talk about Deere's tape measure home runs and the fact that he strikes out every 2.5 times at the plate, but he has shown us some pretty good outfield play, Don.
He has done just that, and the Brewers have been very happy. There's a play right there where Cruz picked the ball up, gave it back to Cecil Cooper, and about the only thing had to happen right there was Cruz step off the bag and Cooper tag him, and he was out.
Yep.
We have seen some unusual things tonight.
Well, we still don't know what the youngster Dale Swaim was thinking about earlier when he evidently thought he was, for some reason, he was out and just headed for the dugout, and Cruz was able to tag him out for real.
And Gelosi, thinking about bunting, pulls back. 1-0 the count.
Writers say they're going to have a vote and come up with a pool writer to go in and ask him what he was thinking about. I don't know what kind of a temper or how the youngster feels. They don't want to go to him en masse. They're going to elect one man to ask.
There's a strike, and the count 1-1. Angelosi coming into tonight's game, an 8-game hitting streak. He has bounced to third twice. Reed Nichols on deck. Takes low, the count 2-1. Doug Rader looking in the dugout at Jim Fregosi, now flashing a couple of signs to Cangelosi, who's up on the count 2-1. We'll see if Jimmy wants to do anything. Aguirre thinks they might. We'll try and keep Cruz close. The outfield fairly deep and fanned. Runner goes, and a high pop. Angling over is Gantner. He will make the play, bobbling but holding on to it. And Cangelosi's retired.
Well, we'll look at it again. Gantner came a long way. Bobbles the ball, juggles it, but squeezes it. And that's all for Cangelosi. 1 out.
Now Reed Nichols will stand in. Reed 1 for 2 tonight, has struck out in single. On the base hit. Cruz was thrown out at the plate trying to score from second base. That ended the White Sox third. That was their only scoring threat of the evening. Outside, 1-0 the count. Harold Baines on deck. 1-0 Milwaukee, top of the 6th. Fifth singled in the second inning, leading it off, and was left stranded at first as Hewlett, Mormon, and Salazar struck out. Cruz thrown out at the plate in the third, and the leadoff single by Cruz here in the 6th inning. High and away, the count, 3 balls and no strikes with Baines on deck. A strike, and the count goes to 3-1. Aguirre certainly aware of Cruz at first, and just for a moment kind of losing a little bit of the control to Reed Nichols. Falling behind 3-0, the count now 3-1. Jams him on the 3-1 pitch, and a little looper to Gantner.
Harold Baines.
2 outs, and that'll bring on Harold Baines.
You know, Don, right to this stage of the ball game, the Sox have had 4 base hits, which is not very many, but they have not advanced a base runner after any of the 4 base hits.
Now the only one, Cruz, you could say technically got to third on the base hit by Nichols, but then he was thrown out trying to advance more than 90 feet, thrown out at the plate. Baines fouls it back. No, Aguirre's been tough. .69 pitches, so he has been well in command throughout the course of the evening. Little lob toss, checking Cruz at first. Can't get the fastball. The count is 0-2. On deck, Carlton Fisk.
That's Dan Plesac out in the Brewers bullpen. Just started throwing.
A little high. The count, 1-2 strikes. Baines has popped to first and popped to third. Harold has hit safely in 5 of his last 6 ball games. That's out of play. Gentleman right below us has himself a souvenir or a bruise
or both.
A ball and 2 strikes. Jams Baines, a bouncer to Gantner, and he'll throw him out. Sox are gone in the 6th inning. No runs on a hit. They leave a man to the bottom of the 6th. 1-0 Milwaukee.
We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Brewers hang on to a 1-0 lead over the Sox here at County Stadium.
And in the bottom of the 6th inning, it'll be Ogilvie, Deere, and Braggs. Ogilvie has walked and he's popped to short. Now De Leon, who has struggled tonight, but still the White Sox certainly in the ball game with the Brewers leading it 1-0. And that pitch right there has been the problem for him, the breaking pitch tonight. The 1-0 pitch. Again, the breaking pitch down low. 2-0. Rob Deere on deck. 2 balls and no strikes. High fly ball, shallow right. Baines is there, way up in the air, 1 away. And that will bring on Rob Deere. He right there, the first 51 games of the year, hitting at 275, the last 57 at 248. That 275 in August led the American League to 248. That's the lowest in the American League in that span. Foul back by Deere. 0-1 the count. Quickly, it's 0-2. Glenn Braggs on deck. Hewlett deep at third, Guillen deep at short, over in the hole. And strikes him out. So there's 2 gone, and then we'll bring on Glenn Braggs, who has been on the fielder's choice, and he's singled 1 for 2 tonight. Five strikeouts for De Leon. The curveball for the strike, 0-1. Well, they say, as we said last night, that Braggs, they talk about him being kind of on the same plane as Don Baylor build-wise. You can see that young man is put together. Well, at St. Louis, the Cardinals have announced that they've traded catcher Mike Heath to the Detroit Tigers in exchange for minor league pitcher Ken Hill and a player to be named later. Breaking pitch, 1-2 the count. So Mike Heath comes back to the American League. Recall, Heath went over to the Cardinals from the Oakland A's in the Andujar deal.
Started his career as a shortstop in the Yankee organization. They turned him into a catcher, one of the best throwing arms of any catcher in the league.
He's a valuable commodity. I've always said that, Frank. As a curveball gets Braggs, and the side is retired. Number 6 after 6, 1-0 Milwaukee. On Wednesday, August 27th, the Sox take on the Kansas City Royals. It'll be Fuji Camera Day, and all fans with cameras will be permitted on the Comiskey Park field beginning at approximately 6 o'clock to take close-up pictures of their favorite Sox star. That's compliments of Fuji Film. For tickets, call 559-1212. Use your charge card or stop by the ballpark. Right here at County Stadium, it's 1-0. The Brewers on top through 6, and along with Frank Messer, I'm Don Drysdale. Happy you've joined us tonight, the second of this 4-game series. We go to the 7th, and back to call it for you. Here's Frank.
Okay, Don, and the Sox will try to get some offense generated here. Carlton Fisk 1 for 2 tonight. Had a base hit leading off the 2nd inning. Then he popped to the first baseman Cooper in the 4th. The Sox have only 4 hits off Higuera, and 2 of those hits have been by Julio Cruz. Fisk has 1 and Reed Nichols has the other. The closest the Sox came to scoring was when Cruz was thrown out rather handily at the plate in the 3rd inning on a throw from Ogilvie and left to the catcher Charlie Moore. Ball and a strike. They keep working Fisk over the outside part of the plate. Budge will be followed by Tim Hewlett and then Russ Morman. All right-hand hitters. Curveball for a strike, and it's 1-2. I think both pitchers tonight, both Higuera and De Leon, have used more breaking pitches certainly than they have fastballs. And more breaking pitches, I think, than the hitters on the other club have expected. And we've had quite a pitcher's duel, 1-0. He blew that one by him. So Fisk is down. 6 strikeouts for Higuera. And let's take a look at the last one again.
Third baseman, Tim Hewlett.
That's a heater right there, and he threw it past him. Higuera used to throw a screwball, but they took it away from him. He struck out 1 in the 1st, the side in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 1 here in the 7th for 6 strikeouts. De Leon, pitching for the Sox tonight, has also struck out 6 men. One big difference, Higuera has not walked anybody. Comes in low to Hewlett. Timmy is struck out and flied out. In the 2nd inning, after Fisk opened the inning with a base hit to center, Higuera struck out Hewlett, Morman, and Salazar in order. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, there's an NFL preseason score. The Bears beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 33-13 at Three Rivers Stadium. That's a final. So the Bears go 2-0 for the preseason season. So used to call those exhibition games, but the football commissioner says no. Can't call them exhibition games anymore. 2-1 pitch. Popped up. In comes the 2nd baseman, Gantner. And the wind carries it, but he stays with it. 2 down.
First baseman, Russ Morman.
Here's Russ Morman. He has struck out and popped up. Sox have just not been able to generate any offense at all. We mentioned earlier they've had only 4 base runners. Cruz twice, Fisk once, and Nichols once, and they have not advanced a base runner effectively in the ballgame. Ball 1 is outside to Morman. Salazar would be up next if Morman keeps the inning alive, but he will not keep it alive that way. Fly ball out into center, and coming on for it. The center fielder brags, and it's an easy 3-up, 3-down inning for Ted Higuera. At the end of 6 1/2, it's the Brewers 1, the Sox nothing. And right here we have 1 strike on Ernie Riles as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Mike Pagliarulo and Dan Pasqua both homered for the Yankees today. Pasqua's 10th home run. It came leading off the 9th inning, won it 3-2. He hit it off Bud Black, making a winner of Fisher. Ball out of strike. Minnesota scored 3 runs in the 1st inning en route to their 9-2 win over Oakland. Roy Smalley's 18th home run highlighted that 1st inning. Well, Don Drysdale, they honored Billy Martin at Yankee Stadium today. It was Billy Martin Day in New York, and they had 45,000. That should pay Billy's salary for the next couple of years. Then they can honor him again.
He's got as good a deal as anybody I know, I'll tell you that.
He probably got the best deal in baseball. Yeah, he and George, that's that love-hate relationship that's been going on a while. You know, a lot of people look up to Billy Martin. A lot of people look up to him. Marshmallow salesmen, and pitchers. Primarily because he just knocked him down, I guess. Now, Billy's all right. I'm glad they honored him at the stadium day, and I'm glad they had a good crowd. 45,000 on Billy Martin Day, and the Yankees won it over Kansas City. Ball 4. Riles is on. That is the 4th walk given up by De Leon. Searage, the left-hander. Schmidt, the right-hander, in the Sox bullpen. And right now, third baseman Timmy Hewlett went in to buy a little time at the mound. And it looks like the Red Sox are going to pick up ground on everybody but the Yankees. They've got a lead over Detroit. Baltimore is trailing Cleveland, and Toronto and Texas are tied. Swaim is up there to bunt, bringing the corner man in, and it's ball 1. Milwaukee bullpen. Chris Bosio. He was to be the starter possibly Monday night if Juan Nieves is unable to start. There goes the runner, and bunt and run. The only play is going to be to first base. De Leon gets it over there as Riles goes to second.
Well, they're lucky that that ball wasn't popped in the air. And De Leon getting on that ball in a hurry. Had Riles not been running, they might have had a play at second base.
I think they would have. He got a little too much wood on it for a good bunt. Fregosi is out. And with the left hand hitting Gantner up, Fregosi wants to go to his pen and get Searage in here to pitch to Gantner. So that'll be all for Jose De Leon. He'll leave after 6 1/3 innings, and he leaves trailing 1-0. And a runner at second base, his responsibility. See it? Seattle, California game we told you just underway on the West Coast right here with the Milwaukee Brewers leading 1-0 in the 7th inning. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Now there you see some of the pitching lines on Jose De Leon. He went 6 1/3. Allowed 3 hits, 1 run that earned. He has walked 4, struck out 6, and Ray Searage will come on. Searage, as he makes his appearance overall on the year. This is his 7th appearance for the White Sox, his 24th on the year. Right with the White Sox, no record as yet, not a save, nor an ERA. So he'll come on and try and retire some of his former teammates. And just a reminder while we have time that you can get 1 half-price tickets to 6 selected White Sox home games. That's courtesy of Arby's. Just stop in to any Chicagoland Arby's location, make a minimum $2.50 purchase, and receive your free 1 half-price coupon, good for any box reserve or general admission seat. Now, the offer is good while the supply lasts. Plus, the White Sox will donate 50 cents from each coupon redeemed. That will be to the Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
Well, Don, as we watch Searage, his last appearance, no decision. That was Sunday against Detroit, 1/3 of an inning, and he got the man out. Looking again at the National League down in Atlanta, the Giants and Braves are trying to get a rain in. It's been raining there for well over 2 hours now. They've had a rain delay of about 2 hours and 10 or 15 minutes. Looking closer at that Phillies-Cubs game this afternoon, the Cubs 2 runs scored on homers by Sandberg and Matthews, but the Phillies won the ball game 4-2 with Hudson the winner over Eckersley. and a save by Bedrosian. 33,003 at Wrigley Field for the ball game. Gantner with a runner at second and one out. Foul straight back. Gantner tonight against DeLeon grounded out on a great play by Cruz, had a base hit and struck out. Gantner has scored the only run in the ball game, and it scored on a wild pitch thrown by DeLeon. Brewers lead 1-0. Ball and a strike. Gantner's had a good year for the Brewers. Came into this at bat with a batting average of .293. He's got 103 hits, second high on the ball club. One and two. You know, Surridge has got to have the adrenaline pumping. He started the season as a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. His one save this year came against the White Sox in an early season series.
Well, it's always something when you go back and face your former teammates.
Breaking ball is hit in the air down the left field line. Coming hard for it, Reed Nichols, and makes the catch in fair territory. Riles will hold at second base. And there are two down. Charlie Moore the batter. And again, Fregosi will come out and probably bring Dave Schmidt in here, as Surridge has done his job retiring the left-hand hitter. And now Fregosi will want Schmidt to come in to try to get Charlie Moore out. So 1/3 of an inning for Surridge, and he does the job. There's another break in the action with the Brewers leading 1-0 here in the 7th inning, and we'll be back right after this.
Well, while Dave Schmidt takes his warm-up tosses, a reminder, you don't want to miss the Fantasy Crosstown Classic. That matches the players from the Cubs fantasy camp in Arizona against the Sox fantasy campers from Sarasota. And this fantasy camp game that'll follow the Sox regular game with Texas on Sunday, August 31st. So for tickets, call 559-1212. Use your charge card or stop by the ballpark. There you look at some of the numbers on Dave Schmidt, making his 33rd appearance of the year. 0-3 mark and a 3.67 ERA. 7 saves, 73 hits in 68 2/3 innings pitched. He has walked 20, struck out 50. And Dave Schmidt, he's had saves in his last 4 opportunities and 4 of his last 8 games. His 4 earned run in his last 11 appearances. That covers a span of 19 2/3 innings for a 1.83 ERA. So Dave has been in a good groove.
He really has. He saved DeLeon's win Monday against the Red Sox after Bob James got hurt. Little did we know when James came out of that ball game that he was going to be put on the disabled list, but that is exactly what happened. So Schmidt is on, and I don't know how dangerously we're living here, Don, but we have a little delicacy that was served to us here in the television booth tonight. Salmon that I am told was caught and smoked, and not necessarily in that order, by Bob Uecker.
Well, he said he smoked it when he was smoked, and so we got to take his word for it.
No, Bob, he might have been a little smoked when he caught it, too. But it doesn't taste too bad.
It's very good. He's been doing a lot of fishing up here. He's got a boat up here this summer, and he's been going out. He brought one down in the clubhouse, and he put another one. There's Bob and Judy. He'll be leaving here tomorrow, going back and starting his television show back out in California again. So tomorrow will be his last game. Then he'll join the club for a while on the road, pick up some games, and go back out and start the Mr. Belvedere series again.
Charlie Moore takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Well, Bob, we thank you for the salmon.
It's good, too.
It is good.
Yeah.
In the background, Frankie Charles, the organist here. A few strains of On Wisconsin. And a slider for a strike. It's a ball and a strike to Charlie Moore. Moore against De Leon was 1 for 3. Had a single in the first inning, struck out in the third, and flied out in the fifth. The Brewers are leading the Sox 1-0. The Brewers have Ernie Riles at second base with 2 down here in the 7th. And a strike called. It is 1-2 to Charlie Moore. There's Ernie Riles, who walked opening the inning. Dale Swaim moved him up with a bunt. Gantner flied to left field for the second out, and that's where we are. Timeout. Good crowd here at County Stadium tonight. 37,409. 37,409. About 14,000 more than last night. Two balls and 2 strikes. Another crowd like this tomorrow afternoon, and the Brewers will go over the 1 million mark for the season. If they don't do it tomorrow, they'll certainly do it on Monday night. I feel they'll do it tomorrow, unless we have inclement weather. Placek and Clear. Placek is the left-hander, Clear the right-hander in the Brewer bullpen, and Moore hits a scorcher to Hewlett. Timmy fires across to Mormon, and that retires the side. Nothing across for the Brewers. They leave Riles at second. End of 7. It's Milwaukee 1, the Sox 0. Sports Vision is your home for Sox 86 Weekly, Quest for the West, the official highlight show of the White Sox. Only on Sports Vision, Chicago's winners on cable. Call your local cable company for details. Well, the Sox still have not been able to get anything going against Teddy Higuera. 4 base hits in the game. A second inning single by Fisk. A double and a single in the third inning. A double by Cruz, a single by Nichols, and a base hit by Cruz in the 6th. So we go to the 8th inning with the Brewers leading 1-0. Luis Salazar will be the first batter for the Sox, and back with the action, Don Drysdale.
Thank you, Frank. It'll be the bottom 3 in the order. Salazar, Guillen, and Cruz. Now that 1 run so far being made to stand by Teddy Higuera. A run on 3 hits for the Brewers. No runs, 4 hits for the White Sox. The strike to Salazar. He has struck out and bounced to third. Toronto now leading Texas 6-2. That's in the 7th inning, with California leading Seattle 1-0 in the 2nd. 0-2 the count. Swaim is back and guarding the line at third. Riles deep and in the hole at short. That fastball outside, 1-2. There you see the defensive alignment. Curveball hit up the middle, base hit. So for Luis Salazar, his first hit of the 1986 season. Making his first start of the year. He's at first, and that'll bring on Ozzie Guillen. So the Sox have out hit Milwaukee. Ted Lyon's going to go in and run for Salazar. I should say Steve Lyon.
Ted Lyon. Boy, that was a name from the past.
The White Sox.
Number 10, Steve Lyons.
Now Lyons at first, and that'll bring on Ozzie Guillen. Sox have out hit Milwaukee 5-3, but the Brewers on top 1-0. Swaim looking for the bunt, and it's taken down low.
Well, I certainly think the bunt is in order here with the left-hander Guillen against the left-hander Higuera. Hopefully Ozzie will be able to lay one down.
Standing back, and he's looking for a sign once again from Doug Rader. You've got the entire infield on the move. You might see, you could see something crossed up a little. He was not going to bunt, and the count 2-0. And now Doug Rader is going to say, come here a minute, I want to talk to you. He says, come here a minute. Ozzie looked like he's a little disturbed. He wasn't getting out of that batter's box that much. Well, he's probably still thinking about that throw. But out in front of Guerra, goes to second base, and they get him. Boy, he bounced off of there in a hurry.
Have a look at it again. Again, slap at the ball. He gets way too much wood on it. And Higuera with his throw to Riles in plenty of time to get the diving Lyons out at second base. See him slap at that ball and butts it right back to the pitcher. Higuera off the mound in a hurry and fires it to Ernie Riles, the shortstop, covering.
Julio Cruz has been called back. Jerry Harrison has grabbed the bat. He's out in the on-deck circle, so he will hit for Cruz. Now what Jimmy Fragosi's thinking right here, he said, I need a ball in the gap or a long ball in order for Guillen to score from first.
Now, Sox pinch hitters as a whole this year batting .220, 18 for 82 with a home run and 15 runs batted in. Now, would you believe this? The Milwaukee Brewers pinch hitters this year, Don, have had only 2 hits all year, 2 singles from their pinch hitters total in 17 at bats.
Well, that's a little hard to believe.
Isn't it, though?
On a club that was hitting as well as they were.
Yep, it is hard to believe. You know, pinch hitting has become really a lost art in the American League. Now, in the National League, you'll use your pinch hitter much more often. In the American League, though, with the designated hitter, you very seldom use a pinch hitter anymore. So I guess the guys, the pinch hitting specialists, are a lost breed in our league.
Well, there's one standing at home plate right now in Harrison as he takes down low. But this is where Fregosi, now Julio Cruz, you say, well, he was 2 for 2 tonight, a double and a single. And what Jimmy's got to be thinking right here, one of the things crossing his mind is, I need someone to drive the ball for me to get Guillen home. I've got Guillen, Cruz, and Cangelosi back to back to back, and I need 3 base hits to score a run, or at least 2 by, say, Cruz and Cangelosi. And the way Teddy Higuera is going, sometimes that makes you make a move. They count 1-1 to Harrison. Takes a little bit off, catches the outside part of the plate, and they count 1-2.
Well, Jerry's much more effective as a left-hand hitter, a .321 hitter, left-handed, right-handed, batting .222, a total of 6 hits in 27 at-bats, right-handed.
The count 2-2. Now he has missed in, and we'll see where he comes back with right here. You're going to be thinking away. You see Charlie Moore thinking out there the same way. And that ball hit to the hole. Base hit left field. Well, Guillen stops at second base. And Hairston on board with a base hit. That is hit number 6 for the White Sox. And John Cangelosi being called back as Ivan Calderon will come up and hit for Cangelosi.
Well, technically, back in the 3rd inning, Don, as you mentioned at the time, Nichols base hit with Cruz at second. Cruz thrown out at home. Technically, I guess you would say he advanced Cruz to 3rd. But in my book, this is the first time the Sox really now have advanced a base runner effectively in this ball game. We'll get Brian Giles as a base runner down at first for Jerry Hairston. So Giles to run for Hairston and Calderon to bat for Cangelosi.
Well, again, you see the thinking of Jim Fregosi right here, looking for someone to drive the ball, as Calderon will step in. Now you've got the tying run at second base and Ozzie Guillen, the go-ahead run at first base, and Brian Giles. And now they're getting the attention of the center fielder, Glenn Braggs, moving him slightly into right center, moving Ogilvy off the line and left. Taken low, the count 1-0. Calderon, we've noticed, has changed numbers as he has number 22 on. That was worn by Joel Skinner. 1 ball and 1 strike the count with Reed Nichols on deck. Mark Clear, the right-hander, down in the bullpen. Plesac, I think that's Plesac in behind him, the left-hander.
Yeah, just sort of coasting out there, watching the action.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 on, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. We're in the top of the 8th. 1-2 the count. Calderon just swinging right through 2 pitches. Does he hold it? He does hold it. Now Calderon down on strike.
Well, we'll take another look at it. As you look from the pitcher's shoulder right in. He caught that one off the mask and just squeezed it. So now Teddy Higuera has moved ahead of Moose Haas for the most strikeouts in a single season. He is now 3rd, well, really 2nd, 3rd technically, behind one man who did it twice, Marty Patton. 147 strikeouts for Higuera. He'll get probably 10, 11 more starts this year, so he will pass Patton into first place before the season's over, I feel sure.
Now the 2 outs, 2 on, and Reed Nichols will stand in. And he takes a curveball for the strike. 0-1 with Harold Baines on deck. On the count. That's out of play, and Aguirre jumps out in front. 0-2. The Brewer fans come alive as they see the count 0-2 up on that board. Guillen trying to get as big a lead as he can at second. The 2-strike pitch fouled out of play. There's a partial line on Aguirre. 7 2/3, 6 hits. Nary a run. And he has not walked anybody. Striking out 7, thrown 102 pitches. Gantner moving over to say something to Ernie Riles. But as they did that, they're just standing right alongside of Ozzie Guillen, so it couldn't have been too much of a secret. I would assume.
I'm not sure how many secrets there are anymore anyway. Harold Baines waiting on deck.
Now we're ready to go again. Struck him out. Number 8, side retired. And the Sox are gone. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, 1-0 Milwaukee.
Well, here's the new defensive setup for the Sox. Calderone left, Nichols in center. Baines stays in right, of course. Gillen Guillen on the left side. Brian Giles in at second base on the right side. And Dave Schmidt, who retired. Charlie Moore for the last out in the 7th inning, stays on the mound. And we go to the bottom half of the 8th. An update on the official plate attendance tonight, 37,499. Since we gave you the figure 37,409 a little while ago, they found 90 more people here in the ballpark. And we're going to have a lot of people at Comiskey Park Sunday, August 17th. Prior to the start of the White Sox-Brewers game, it'll be the Equitable Old Timers game at Comiskey Park. The game will match White Sox stars of the 70s, such as Bucky Dent, Bill Melton, and Ken Berry, against Frank Howard, Sam McDowell, and Al Oliver, and other baseball stars of that era. Game begins at noon, and the Palmer House Hotel is the official hotel for the Equitable Old Timers game. Doc?
Here's Cecil Cooper as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cooper, Thomas, and Ogilvy, and line to left. So the first hit off of Dave Schmidt, and that'll bring on Gorman Thomas. Front of the plate, Fisk out in a hurry, but the bat gets in the way and has to pick it up. Carlton just kicks at the bat.
Well, take another look at it. Gorman lays the bunt down, throws the bat out after it. Fisk has to swing around the bat and pick the ball up. A sacrifice. 1-3, moving Cooper up to second base. I mean, sacrifice 2-3. More things have gotten in Fisk's way this year. Remember early in the year, he got a stool got in his way, and he kicked that. The bat gets in his way here, and he kicks that. So the Brewers trying to get an insurance run here in the 8th inning.
They're going to walk Ogilvy, and they'll pitch to Deere. And put the double play in order.
And you'll have right-hander against right-hander, of course, too. And Deere, the guy who's got the biggest strikeout to at-bat ratio in the major leagues. But he's also the guy that can put the ball out of this ballpark. Not that Ogilvy can't. But that is the dictated strategy. Walk Ogilvy, the left-hand hitter, and pitch to Deere with runners at first and second. And they'll get a runner down there at first base for...
That's going to be Rick Manning.
Ogilvy, Rick Manning. And he'll stay in to play an outfield position.
Running for Ogilvy, number 28, Rick Manning.
So Deere will stand in. Runners at first and second, 1 out. And the Brewers on top 1-0. High pop. This coming back. And can't make the play. Well, that lady never even looked up. She just sat there, and the ball went right off her right shoulder.
Well, here it is. Fisk over.
She can't get out of the way. That's what it was.
Now they'll check her out. She is okay.
Won the count. To center field and playable. Reed Nichols is right there. 2 out.
Center fielder, Glenn Briggs.
Excuse me, Frank. I'm just saying, Glenn Bragg's coming out. Just looking around the ballpark here a little bit. A little feisty out.
A little feisty?
A little feisty.
Well, that'll happen sometimes.
Hey, 1-0 ball game. It hadn't been the shortest game for a 1-0 ball game. And we'll take a little time right here as Braggs will step out. See what Milwaukee is. 47-1 in games that they lead after 7 innings.
Huh.
Down low. 1-0 the count. Braggs tonight 1 for 3. And on the fielder's choice, he has singled and he has struck out. Ground ball right there. Hewlett goes to Giles with a bad throw, but Bryant stays right there, and they get the force at second base. Signed, retired, and we go to the top of the 9th inning with Milwaukee leading it 1-0.
The next game on Channel 32 on the White Sox television network will come your way Tuesday night at 6:30 when the Sox take on the Detroit Tigers at Tiger Stadium in Detroit.
Well, the Sox down to their final 3 outs as they trail at 1-0. Errol Baines to lead it off, followed by Fisk and then Hewlett. 1 pitch and 1 out. And it'll bring on Carlton Fisk as Braggs goes to left. Manning stays in the game. He's in right. Fisk tonight 1 for 3. He singled, fouled out to first, and struck out. Oh, and 1 the count. Low. The count goes 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Good pitch to hit. Carlton a little unhappy with himself right now. grabbed at the bat. 1-2 the count. High and away. The count goes even 2-2. Take a little time. Timmy Hewlett on deck. Foul out of play right side. Two balls, two strikes. Little high and a full count of 3-2. Clear and Plesac still throwing in the bullpen. Aguirre with 110 pitches so far in the game. One out here in the ninth. Bounce to third base side. It's going to be trouble. Aguirre, the only man who can make a play, and he can't do it. They're Carlton Fisk beating out an infield chopper. And now Darrell Boston will go out and run for him, and that will bring on Timmy Hewlett. Now you look at it again as the third baseman Swaim is playing deep and on the line. That ball, you couldn't have taken it and just stood at home plate and rolled it out there any better than that. Even if he makes that play cleanly, he is not going to get Carlton Fisk. So Boston's at first, and here's Hewlett. Timmy tonight has struck out, flying to center, and popped to second. On deck, Russ Moorman. And the curveball is in and over. 0-1 the count. There's Moorman on deck. And very quickly it's 0-2. Aguirre way out in front. No balls and two strikes. Boston at first. He represents the tying run. High and away. The count 1-2. A run on 4 hits, no errors for Milwaukee. No runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for the White Sox. Pops him up. Shallow center. Riles is out. Gantner is out. They look at one another, and Gantner makes the catch. So the Sox are down to their final out, and Russ Moorman with Steve Lyons on deck. Moorman tonight has struck out. He's popped to second, and he is flying to center field. Ron Hassey out on deck. He will hit for Lyons. That's high and away. The count 1-0. There's Hassey. Takes a strike and the count 1-1. 37,499 in attendance tonight. And he couldn't pull the trigger. The count 1-2. So now the Sox are down to their final strike and their final out. And the Brewer fans get on their feet. Line foul. That just about got Eddie Brinkman. Brinky boy. He had to move in a hurry. 1-2 the count. The 1-2 pitch all over again inside, and Boston cannot move. Well, you see the Brewer fans on their feet. They're looking for 1 strike and 1 out to end it right here. Teddy Aguirre trying to pitch his 10th complete game of the year and pick up his 3rd shutout of the year. There goes the runner. Down low. The throw through. They don't get him. Boston with a stolen base. And now the Sox have the tying run in scoring position and good speed and Darrell Boston. See a good jump. Not much chance for Charlie Moore. He had the short hop. Then he short hopped Gantner. So the full count of 3-2 to Mormon with Hassey on deck. And the fans still on their feet and still applauding. Aguirre just that deep sigh. Mormon just looking for a pitch that he can get a base hit. The outfield cheating in just a shade, and he walks him. The first walk of the evening.
Batting for Lions, number 25, Ron Hassey.
Now Ron Hassey comes on, and he will hit for Lyons. You see the numbers on Hassey: 302, 6 home runs, 30 RBIs. Ron last night, first 3 times up, 3 base hits, scored 2 runs. And that's what Jim Fergosi's hoping for right here. Just find 1 more hit if you can. Out of play, right back below us. There you see what Ron did last night. Went 3 for 5, 3 singles, an RBI, scored a pair of runs, as I mentioned. On deck, Ozzie Guillen. You got Darrell Boston at second base carrying the tying run, and the go-ahead run at first base in Russ Mormon. 0-1 to Hassey. Down low, and the count 1-1. Now Bamberger staying with his little left-hander. Hassey trying to battle him. Looper foul left side, out of play. Now once again the Sox are down to their final strike and their final out. A ball and 2 strikes to Hassey. Once again, the Brewer fans get on their feet and they start the hand clapping. To the count. Now Aguirre takes too much time, and Hasse gets some time from home plate umpire Tim Wilkie. So a little cat and mouse game going on here. Struck him out. So the Sox are gone. Teddy Aguirre picks his 15th win of the year. That man George Bamberger right there. He stayed with that little left-hander. You see now tied for the American League lead with 3 shutouts, 10 complete games. The White Sox in the 9th inning, no runs on a hit, no errors. They leave a pair. So the Brewers, as they go off the field, they even the series at a game apiece. The final score tonight, Milwaukee 1 and the White Sox nothing.
Well, here are your totals on the ball game. The Brewers 1 run on 4 base hits. They committed no errors and left 9. And the Chicago White Sox, no runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and they left 7. Teddy Higuera, the winner, 15-7, the second winningest pitcher now in the American League. And Jose De Leon, the loser, his record is 2-1 for the year. That was the 3rd shutout pitch this year by Teddy Higuera, and he did an outstanding job. It's his 10th complete ball game. The Nissan Player of the Game award goes to Julio Cruz, who had a single and a double tonight. The Chicago area dealers are proud to present $100 in his name to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Well, Don Drysdale, sometimes you go out and you give a ball game away, and sometimes you just get beat. And tonight, Teddy Higuera just beat the White Sox.
Well, he did just do that. He was in command all the way, got into a little rough spot in the 9th inning, but after that, he was tough when he had to be, and that's the big thing. He got out of a jam or two. The White Sox really didn't have much of a chance. They had Julio Cruz thrown out in the 3rd inning on a 2-out single by Reed Nichols, but that was really their only scoring opportunity. They had the last one in the 9th inning. They couldn't do anything right there. And of course, all it took was one little wild pitch. When you think, of course, of a 9-inning ball game and all the outs, you have Jimmy Gantner at 3rd, and you have Gorman Thomas at the plate, the wild pitch. And that was a ball game. So within those few seconds right there, Frank, that was the entire thing that happened. And of course, then with Teddy Aguirre and Ron Hasse out there, you see the reaction of the young left-hander, and indeed he is a good one.
Yes, he is. He struck out 9 men tonight, and I think it's very significant, Don, that 6 of his 9 strikeouts came with people on base. So when he had to, he really bore down and got people out, and he just won his ball game. There's no question about it.
Well, he is going pitch for pitch and record for record right now with his fellow countryman Fernando Valenzuela. His record, and he has 15 wins over with the Dodgers, and Aguirre picks his 15th up tonight. Right now, let's take a look at some of the scoreboard. In the American League, you see the Yankees defeated Kansas City 3-2, Minnesota over Oakland 9-2, and Boston held on to defeat Detroit for the second day 8-7. 8-2, Cleveland over Baltimore a final 6-2, Toronto over Texas in the 8th, and California leading Seattle 1-0 in the 4th.
In the National League, the Phillies over the Cubs 4-2 despite homers by Sandberg and Matthews. Cincinnati made it 3 in a row over the Dodgers 6-2 the final there. The New York Mets came back to beat Montreal 10-8 in Montreal. San Diego trails Houston. Well, that's the final now. Houston beats them 6-2. Pittsburgh 7, St. Louis 4 in the 8th inning, and the San Francisco-Atlanta game tied 1-1 in the 5th. They are playing again after a rain delay of close to 2.5 hours in that ball game. And right here, the Brewers 1-0 over the Chicago White Sox in quite a pitcher's duel. Got to give De Leon his due. He pitched well in the ball game, but Higuera he pitched better. There's no question about it.
Well, that was it, and of course, De Leon, the games that we've seen him now, this was the first time that we've seen him struggle, and he did do just missed that tonight, but he was able to get an out when he had to get an out too. And when you get beat 1-0, why you say, well, a little something here or something there, and the game could have been turned around. And indeed, just a little timely base hit for the Sox, and they would have at least tied, and who knows what would have happened. But not with a little left-hander out there tonight. He was not going to be outdone because he was just tough and crafty. That's all you can say.
He's a tough pitcher. I'll say again, he's the best left-hander in the league right now.
And well, the third game tomorrow afternoon here at County Stadium, and that's barring any rain. They say that it could be a little damp, but we'll have to wait and see. It'll be Richard Dotson and Bill Wegman, and our next WFLD game will be on Tuesday at 6:30 from Tiger Stadium in Detroit. Tonight's game was produced and directed by Jim Angio. Coordinating producer was Lorene Ong. Production manager was Ken Kolb. Assistant production manager was Tom Fix. Studio director was Karen Barnett. Remote facilities provided by Trio Video of Chicago. The executive producer for the WFLD Chicago White Sox Network was Bob Simone. Well, once again, the final score, the Brewers 1 and the White Sox nothing. And for Frank Messer, I'm Don Drysdale saying good evening from Milwaukee. The preceding has been a sports presentation of Fox Television Stations Incorporated and the Chicago White Sox.